I want you to stop whatever else you're doing right now just for a second and really listen to me. Today in this explainer, we're going to look at something that is quietly dismantling millions of lives as we speak. You can't spot it on a medical scan at first glance, you can't catch it from a cough, but make no mistake, we are currently living through the absolute worst epidemic of this invisible affliction in recorded human history. I'm talking about the dark psychology of loneliness. And honestly, the most terrifying part of all this, most of the people affected, and hey, that might even be you, right now, have absolutely no idea what it's physically doing to them in the shadows. So we're going to break down the science, the psychology, and the hidden mechanics of why being alone in the modern world is fundamentally destroying us. 15. I really want you to think about that number for a second, because that brings us to a truly shocking reality. Loneliness is deadlier than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, we slap massive warning labels on cigarette packs, right? We ban smoking in public buildings because we understand the physiological damage of inhaling tar and carcinogens. But when it comes to prolonged social isolation, we just sort of brush it off. We treat it like a temporary emotional slump. Let me be perfectly clear. It is not an emotional slump. It is a visceral, measurable, physical threat to your very existence.
And look, this isn't just some poetic metaphor. A massive meta-analysis conducted by Brigham Young University didn't just survey a few hundred people to figure this out. They looked at data from 3.4 million people. 3.4 million. And the data from that study is absolutely conclusive. Chronic loneliness kills. It fundamentally alters your mortality rate. This is a biological crisis, heavily backed by undeniable scientific data.
Which brings us to our first core concept, your brain on loneliness. See, modern neuroscience has completely redefined our understanding of human suffering. On one hand, you have physical pain, like a broken bone. On the other, social rejection, a broken heart. But here's the crazy part. Your brain processes both of these in the exact same neural region. When someone says they have a broken heart, they aren't speaking metaphorically. They're describing clinical neuroscience. Your brain is hitting the exact same biological alarm bells for unwanted isolation as it does for severe physical trauma. And the physiological damage absolutely doesn't stop there. Chronic loneliness literally accelerates cognitive decline. It spikes your cortisol levels, basically trapping your body in this constant, exhausting state of fight or flight stress. It disrupts your sleep architecture, meaning you're no longer getting the restorative rest you actually need to function. And crucially, it weakens your immune system. Isolation makes you measurably more vulnerable to every disease out there, from the common cold all the way to cancer. Your body's defense mechanisms quite literally power down when it believes it's been abandoned by the tribe. Let's look at the next piece of this puzzle, the contagion of isolation. Loneliness is socially contagious. Back in 2009, researchers John Cacioppo and James Fowler published this landmark study proving something that at first glance sounds almost impossible. Loneliness spreads like a virus. It doesn't just stay contained within the isolated individual. It is literally transmitted through human contact, rippling out through our social networks. Let's map out exactly how this invisible transmission actually works. So when you become lonely, your brain enters survival mode, right? And that leads to defensive behavior. You suddenly become way more likely to perceive standard, everyday social interactions as threatening or hostile. And because of this perceived threat, you push others away. Well, those people you just pushed away, you've just inflicted social rejection onto them. So now they feel isolated and their loneliness increases. They, in turn, become defensive and push their connections away. Node by node, person by person, the epidemic spreads. You are quite literally infecting the people around you with your own psychological withdrawal. So why is this happening on such a massive scale right now? That brings us to the illusion of connection. 847. You might have, say, 847 friends on your social media profile right now. You might have thousands of followers. But let's be real for a second. Ask yourself, how many of them have you genuinely spoken to in years? How many would actually show up if you were in a crisis at 3 a.m.? We're living in a world surrounded by avatars and digital ghosts, basically tricking our brains into feeling popular while we sit completely alone in empty rooms. Passive social media use, the endless scrolling, observing, and consuming, is nothing more than fake dopamine. A like on a photograph gives you this fleeting neurochemical hit that mimics connection, but it doesn't provide a single real psychological benefit. Contrast that with genuine connection. Your biological hardware actually requires eye contact. It requires physical presence, shared vulnerability, reciprocal disclosure. When you try to replace genuine connection with passive scrolling, you are essentially drinking salt water to cure your thirst. It's only making the loneliness worse. And that traps us in what psychologists call the loneliness loop.
It is a highly elegant yet incredibly cruel cycle. Step 1. Loneliness creates a hypervigilance to social threat. Your brain is frantically scanning every single interaction for signs of rejection. Step 2. Because you're actively scanning for rejection, you start perceiving it everywhere. You start interpreting ambiguous text messages, slight pauses in conversation, or even neutral faces as hostile attacks. Step 3. To protect yourself from this perceived pain, you withdraw early. You cancel plans, you avoid the very interactions that would actually relieve your isolation. Step 4. This withdrawal naturally plunges you into deeper loneliness, and the loop begins all over again. Loneliness breeds a fear of connection, and that very fear drives you deeper into the dark.
But there is a way to break it. Let's look at loneliness versus chosen solitude. Because here is the fundamental distinction. Loneliness is the pain of unwanted isolation. Solitude, on the other hand, is the pleasure of chosen aloneness. Think about it. They look absolutely identical from the outside, a person sitting quietly in a room, but internally, they are opposite states of human existence. Transforming unwanted isolation into chosen aloneness changes absolutely everything. And the neuroscientific proof of this is just staggering. When isolation is forced upon you, it activates your brain's threat response. It's an emergency. But when you actively choose solitude, you activate something called the default mode network. This is the brain's built-in system for self-reflection, meaning-making, and deep creativity. You literally go from merely surviving to deeply exploring your own mind. History's greatest minds understood this intimately. We're talking about figures like Nietzsche, Einstein, Tesla. They deliberately sought out periods of profound solitude. They didn't view being alone as some kind of punishment. They viewed it as the ultimate laboratory for their most significant work. They weaponized their aloneness to achieve greatness. Learning to choose your aloneness rather than feeling like it's being imposed on you is hands down one of the most powerful psychological transformations you can achieve.
Which leads us to our final realization, the hijacked signal.
The absolute tragedy of our modern era is this. Millions are starving while completely surrounded by the appearance of food. Our ancient biological hunger for human connection has been entirely hijacked by a world designed to simulate connection without actually providing it. We're gorging on the empty calories of social media and text messages, and yet our souls are emaciated. We have to recognize this fake food for what it is and actively seek the genuine connection that our biology is practically begging for. Understanding this dark psychology is only your first step. You now know that your biology is begging for real connection, but you're living in a world built to isolate you. So the ultimate question is, will you let the illusion keep you starved, or will you choose to break the loop? There are even darker truths hidden just beneath the surface of human behavior. Subscribe to Dark Archive. Every week, we open a new file. The archive is open. Will you step inside?